Good morning, everyone. This is Sean with Sean's Tech Blog, where I reach out to guest speakers from tech, gaming, cybersecurity, and career advisors. I'm also doing open to work videos with interviewees with job seekers that are open to work. So I have another bold interview today with Kegan Bastia, and I'm gonna start interviewing him from the get go. But we'll start it off with one of those dreaded questions. If you're hopefully you're ready, tell me about yourself, Kegan. What can you tell us?
I'll start with like general. My parents are from IT. I was born and raised in Philly. I was lived in Ecuador for a year. Now I'm back in Florida. But in terms of tech, I guess I'll start with the tech stuff. At first, I wanted to be a front end web dev, so I was studying like HTML and CSS and like React and all that stuff. And then I kind of got caught in like the crypto wave, right? So I was studying the Solidity programming language for the Ethereum blockchain. But then I always told myself like just three things that would interest me: either front end, blockchain, or cyber, right? So for the past year, I've been getting deeper into cyber with like Cybernaut Labs, Blacks in Cyber, and um, Diversity Cyber Council. But my main focal point now is like Linux, because I'm realizing like I've been using like Linux for years personally, but now I'm realizing that's using like a enterprise level as well. So that's kind of my main focus right now.
Okay, and um, I noticed. So let's get into. You got some stuff on GitHub here, and what do you like on Linux, or what are you trying to? Is there a cert you're working on, or trying to learn with Linux?
Right. So I'm currently studying for my arts CSA, my Red Hat Certified System Administrator, right? Because I started with Ubuntu, then I went to Lubuntu, then I went to Kali Linux, and also use TinyCore Linux and also use Fedora. But all of those are more so personal use desktop, right? It's not for like work, but on the business side, they're using like Red Hat or SUSE or they're using mainly like other distros that are meant for like enterprise servers. So I'm just kind of like sharpening my skills in that area because personally versus using it at work is a slightly different experience. So I'm just kind of like upping my skills in that area. But yeah, no, currently it's the RTSA for Red Hat.
Okay, so let's lean in more into that since we're talking about Linux here.
Mhm.
So, what kind of roles are you targeting? What kind of roles
Hmm.
would you like to try to get for, or do you think that you're ready for that you can start
Right.
with right now?
Yeah, so the first thing is like Linux system admin, of course, but down the line, I definitely do want to get more into the kernel space. So I definitely, because I even the Linux Foundation, they have this free course I took about like Linux kernel development, but I do have to sharpen my C and my Rust skills because right, so Linux is basically a kernel. It's like the heart of the operating system, pretty much. And majority of our kernels are written in C, right? So the Linux kernel was written in C, but now they're gradually starting to add Rust as well. So I definitely do got to sharpen my programming skills in that area. But to start Linux system admin, just because it's more like it's not entry level, but it's not as intricate as kernel stuff. But then down the line, I could visualize myself adding to the Linux kernel as well.
Okay, and with the Linux, are you focusing just on the Linux, or are you moving into the lab stack? Linux, Apache, web server, MySQL, and then your version of program, Perl, PHP, Python, etc.
Yeah, so I'm open to learning anything that's like corollary. Like a lot of my Linux system admin friends, they're getting like the like cloud certs for like Google Cloud and then Amazon Web services. They're getting those type of things. So I'm open to it if it helps on a job, but I'm going to be as close to the terminal as possible. But anything that's adjacent that will help, I'm definitely open to learning.
Okay, and then can you tell us maybe about a challenging project you worked on, and what was your approach, and what was the outcome?
The challenging project, it's kind of, well, I guess you could call it a project. I have this old Dell Latitude D610 from like 2005, and with a lot of those older laptops, normally they're kind of like they're normally obsolete. But the beautiful thing about Linux, it kind of gives a lot of these old like hardware's new life, right? So I had to like there's one called Bodhi Linux and TinyCore Linux, and a couple other like distros that are so small that you can literally like just fit it inside the RAM, like literally like just such a small like distro. And I got a couple of them to like start working basically, but because I'm kind of as I get deep into the software side of tech, I admire more so like the hardware side. So that was just a little technical thing, just trying to like upgrade these super old laptops we use in like modern day.
Okay. Um, all right. And are you I see on your profile on LinkedIn uh so are you your laptops or whatever devices are you mainly just working straight off the Linux? Uh
Yeah. Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, I've
Okay.
been daily driving Linux for like probably the past 3, 4 years. As I said, I started with Ubuntu, then went to Lubuntu, then went to Kali, and now I'm running Fedora and Red Hat. Like Fedora and Red Hat are like the main two ones I'm running now. I'm trying to put everything on Red Hat, but certain on my laptops weren't really like playing nice with it, right? But I'm really running Red Hat mainly, and then Fedora as a secondary. But the interesting thing about the Red Hat ones, you have to have a login, so you have to have a Red Hat developer login account, right? To even download anything, you have to have a login, which is interesting to me. But yeah, mainly Red Hat and Fedora right now, and am going to look into SUSE and Oracle Linux as well, but mainly Red Hat right now.
Okay. And then for the hiring managers that may watch this video, um what can you tell them that are, I mean, are you do you feel like you're confident, ready to hit the ground running? If they assign you a project on Linux, you can, administrator uh with little to no direction. Basically, they give you a task and you're able to do it. And if you didn't know what what to do, what would you do to research it or find out what what is the troubleshooting you would use for that?
Yeah, the first thing I'll tell them is like Linux is kind of in my blood now. Even so much so I'm thinking about getting like the Pine phone, like a Linux based like phone, and even a Linux based like the native Linux based like laptop, like what is it, Tuxedo and all of those. Like basically, I'm trying to like integrate it into like my personal life and every single aspect I can. But in terms of troubleshooting, definitely like the man pages is kind of the first go to, like the manual pages, because all Linux like systems are sent with like a manual pages that you could access offline, right? So sometimes you won't even have access to internet. So the man page is like the most basic way to learn, but the most like fundamental way to learn. So there's different ways to search in the man pages, but outside of that, you can find anything out like online. Like because I've put myself into some pits in Linux, and like there's certain times you can't even access the terminal, so you have to use the TTY to even access stuff. So yeah, I've been in some dark areas in Linux, so I could kind of pull myself out of anywhere, and I am up in my enterprise skills, because using it on the desktop personally and using it for enterprise is slightly different, but it's the same kind of mentality, definitely.
Okay, and then let's talk about any advice you would have for people that are trying to get into Linux, right? Um,
Yeah.
has there been any pitfalls
Mhm.
in your journey so far?
Right. All right. The first thing I would recommend, right? The first thing I want to say, you could get money with this stuff, right? Because I've been using stuff personally for years, and I was reading a book for the CompTIA Linux Plus, right? And they were teaching them Vim, which is like a text editor, right? And I'm like, I use Vim like literally every single day, right? And they're paying people to use this stuff, right? So I would say don't even start with like the normal stuff, like what is it got, Pop! OS or Ubuntu, bro. Go straight to Red Hat. You could make money with this stuff. This doesn't have to be a hobby where you're just in your room, just like clicking away. You could literally make money, bank with it, right? So that's it's not a mistake I made, but I wish I knew that earlier on my journey. Because if I knew that, I would have been with like Red Hat and then got these certifications. But I would say just start with the enterprise Linux servers. Just don't start on the desktop side. I mean, you can, but realize you can make money with this stuff too. So that's kind of like one of the biggest things I learned. But yeah.
Okay, and then let's go back to roles, right? So how soon are you ready to start? Are you ready to start right away? Are you open to relocation, on-site, remote? What are you
Yeah,
looking for?
yeah, I'm definitely open to like all of that, because honestly, like I'm just trying to get my foot in the door pretty much, because it's annoying, because when you've been doing something for so long, right? But then it's the fact you don't have like the server or like the certifications. The system kind of like kicks you out, right? If you don't have this certain box, a certain certification, like, oh well, I'm gonna just kick them out, right? But even if you have the experience, you need both the experience and the certifications and the like network, right? So you need all of them. So I have the experience. I just gotta kind of expand myself with the certifications and network more, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm gonna stop it there, and then for the interview, and where can they reach you on your LinkedIn? Do you have a GitHub? Do you have a portfolio page? How can they reach you?
Yeah, I'll keep it very simple and minimal at first. Firstly, they could call me at 305-791-1709, right? But then outside of that, there's my LinkedIn, there's also my tech YouTube channel, there's also my GitHub, and I also have a website as well. But usually online, I go by like BitBudha. So if you look that up on GitHub or YouTube, you'll find it. And also my site is named that as well. So my LinkedIn, well, they all link to each other. So if you find me on one, you can find me on the other ones. But first, 305-791-1709, firstly.
Okay, sure. All right. So I'm gonna get this recorded, send out the open to work video, pop it up on my YouTube channel. We can find BitBudha on YouTube or LinkedIn. Let's get him hired. He's looking for primarily Linux roles, right? I noticed you did go to CyberNow Labs, but you have some experience with the what do you want to call it? Cybersecurity
The SOC
training.
analyst, yeah, SOC analyst,
Okay, yeah.
cybersecurity. That's kind of been my main thing for the past like year. Yeah.
Okay. But Linux is what you want to get. So let's try to get them that Linux role. And I like that because I feel like Linux is the hard skills, and I'm trying to work on the computer networking and then gear it to the Linux. But that's neither here nor there. But I think it's good that you're doing that, going to Linux, because command line it's not easy, right? And so let's go look for BitBudha and try to get him hired here. He's ready to work. He's ready to go on site, remote, hybrid, I'm assuming, and open a relocation. Does that sound right?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording here. Once again, this is Sean with BitBudha nickname, and he's open to Linux admin roles.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.